like I've won. I've already won.
Even with millions of fans, Jennifer Aniston couldn't escape the struggles in her life, and a recent event has taken it up a notch. From childhood hardships to scary encounters with stalkers, fame brought challenges most people never see. She faced heartbreak, fear, and pressure that tested her in ways the public rarely understood. How did these experiences shape who she is today, both as a person and a star? Join us as we explore some of the tragic experiences that Jennifer Aniston has had to endure in her lifetime, including a recent event that shook her terribly. A dysfunctional family life. Jennifer Aniston's list of tragedies began from a very young age. She may have become one of the most loved stars of her generation, but her journey was shaped by a family story marked by complicated relationships, health struggles, and complex family dynamics. When Jennifer was young, her father, John Aniston, was far from a Hollywood star. He was just another struggling actor, picking up odd jobs, including selling products door to door, just to keep the bills paid. Life was unsettled, and the family often moved from place to place. His persistence eventually paid off when he landed a role in the soap opera Love of Life, which later led him to Search for Tomorrow and finally to the show that defined much of his career, Days of Our Lives. Jennifer's mother, Nancy Dow, also worked in the entertainment world. She had done some modeling and appeared in small roles on television and in films, but her career never reached the heights of her husband's, let alone her daughter's. Things started to unravel for Jennifer at the age of 9. She remembered going to a birthday party one day and returning home to find her world changed. Her mother quietly told her, "Your father's not going to be around here for a little while." Jennifer didn't realize it at the time, but her dad had left the family. He had fallen in love with his Love of Life co-star Sherry Rooney and even went on to have another child with her. Although Jennifer and her father did spend time together later on, the bond between them always carried scars. Yet the real storm in her childhood came from her relationship with her mother. Nancy, who was admired for her beauty and elegance as a model, often criticized her daughter. Jennifer confessed years later that her mother was hard on her appearance and personality. Growing up, Jennifer didn't see herself as the stunning model child her mother had hoped for, and that rejection weighed heavily on her. Nancy was also known for holding grudges. Jennifer described her as unforgiving, sometimes clinging to petty issues that made their relationship even more strained. This sense of judgment and lack of warmth left Jennifer longing for the kind of acceptance every child wants from their mother. Years later, Jennifer channeled those childhood experiences into her acting. In 2018, she starred in the Netflix film Dumplin', playing a critical and beauty-obsessed mother. She admitted that she drew directly from her real-life memories of Nancy, saying her mom's fixation on looks and presentation gave her plenty of inspiration for the role. The story of a daughter simply wanting to be loved and seen by her mother resonated deeply with Jennifer because it mirrored her own struggles. But the tension didn't stop at childhood criticisms. In 1996, just as Jennifer's career skyrocketed with Friends, Nancy made a public appearance on the tabloid show Hard Copy. A few years later, in 1999, she released a memoir that revealed personal details about their mother-daughter relationship. For Jennifer, this was a devastating betrayal. As a result, Jennifer distanced herself from her mother. Nancy was not invited to her star-studded 2000 wedding to Brad Pitt, and even years later, after some reconciliation, she also missed Jennifer's 2015 wedding to Justin Theroux. Could these early moments of fear and vulnerability help explain some of the anxieties Jennifer still carries today? A trauma. Aftermath. For someone as confident and glamorous as Jennifer, it might be hard to imagine that she carries deep fears. Yet behind the laughter and charm, the Hollywood star has always struggled with one phobia in particular, a fear of going underwater. And this fear, she explained, started with a terrifying accident in her childhood. As a little girl, Jennifer had been happily riding her tricycle near a swimming pool when the fun suddenly turned into a nightmare. She lost control and tumbled straight into the water, tricycle and all. Instead of letting go, she held on tightly as she sank beneath the surface. Her brother rushed to try and help, but the frightening moment left a permanent mark. From then on, the actress couldn't shake off her fear of being submerged in water. Years later, even as a grown woman adored by millions, Jennifer admitted that the phobia never truly left her. She shared with E! News that people often laughed it off, saying they didn't believe her fear was genuine. But for her, the panic was very real. The actress confessed that the thought of going underwater still triggered anxiety, no matter how many years had passed since that childhood accident. Life has a way of pushing us to confront the things we'd rather avoid. For Jennifer, that moment came when she was cast in the 2014 drama Cake. In the film, she played Claire Bennett, a woman struggling with chronic pain and an addiction to prescription drugs after surviving a terrible accident. As part of the storyline, Claire turns to water therapy, meaning Jennifer had to film scenes in a swimming pool. For an actress with such a long-standing fear, this was no small challenge. Jennifer revealed that it took around 30 takes just to complete one pool scene. Each attempt was a battle between her professional commitment and the fear that had haunted her since childhood. Still, she pushed herself through the discomfort, determined to bring honesty to the role. In the end, her performance in Cake earned her some of the highest praise of her career, showing that even her fears couldn't hold her back. While discussing Cake and her struggles with the underwater scenes, Jennifer also spoke openly about another topic that the public had never stopped connecting her to: her divorce from Brad Pitt. The split, which played out under the bright glare of the media, had been endlessly linked to Pitt's growing relationship with Angelina Jolie. For years, the triangle remained one of Hollywood's most gossip-about stories. But Jennifer, with her usual calm, explained that she didn't see it as a painful subject anymore. In fact, she admitted that it wasn't even something she thought about deeply. Instead, she described the continued interest in her past marriage as more of a media creation than a personal wound. "It's not painful," she said in an interview with CBS's Sunday Morning. "It's just a narrative that follows you because it makes an interesting headline. It's more media-driven than reality." While Jennifer has learned to view the headlines about her past marriage with calm detachment, another challenge quietly shaped her from within. How did discovering dyslexia in her 20s change the way she understood herself in her early years? Her journey with dyslexia. While in her 20s, Jennifer Aniston encountered another personal challenge when she got to find out about her dyslexia. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, the actress revealed how this late discovery completely changed the way she saw herself and her childhood. Jennifer explained that she only learned about her condition by chance. She had gone in to get a prescription for glasses when the eye doctor asked her to read a short paragraph. After reading, she was given a quiz with 10 questions based on what she had just read. To her surprise, she could only answer 3 correctly. It was at that moment that the truth became clear. She had dyslexia. For Jennifer, the diagnosis was nothing short of life-changing. Growing up, she had struggled through school, always feeling like she couldn't keep up with the other students. She admitted she believed she wasn't smart, and that her mind simply couldn't hold on to information. Each failed test or forgotten lesson added to her frustration and self-doubt. But learning about dyslexia gave her an explanation she had never had before. Suddenly, all the confusion, difficulties, and painful memories from childhood began to make sense. She described it as though her tragedies and dramas finally had a reason. While dyslexia made her school years tough, it also shaped her in unexpected ways. Since reading and studying didn't come easily, Jennifer developed another way to connect with people: her humor. She found that making others laugh allowed her to build friendships and feel accepted even when academics seemed impossible. That innate humor, as she called it, became not only her survival tool but also the spark that lit her path toward acting. Her ability to entertain and her natural comedic timing would later shine in roles that brought her worldwide fame, most notably as Rachel Green on Friends. The very skill she leaned on as a child became the foundation of her career. By the time Jennifer received her diagnosis, her career was already blossoming, but the discovery gave her a new level of self-understanding. It helped her shed the old belief that she wasn't intelligent and replace it with confidence. Instead of seeing her difficulties as failures, she began to view them as part of the journey that shaped her unique personality. At the time of the interview, Jennifer's career was reaching new heights. She had just earned Golden Globe and Screen Actors Guild nominations for her raw and powerful performance in The Drama Cake, where she portrayed a woman living with chronic pain and addiction. The role earned her critical acclaim and showed the world a side of her talent far beyond comedy. For her fans, Jennifer's openness about dyslexia only deepened their admiration. To many, she became more relatable, proof that even the most glamorous stars face personal battles. The Hollywood Reporter noted that her story reminded people she is a real person with a beating heart, not just a polished image on screen. Jennifer is not alone in sharing such struggles. More and more celebrities have begun to speak openly about learning differences, inspiring countless people who may feel misunderstood or underestimated. By sharing her story, Jennifer joined that growing group of voices encouraging others to see their challenges not as weaknesses, but as unique parts of who they are. But learning differences weren't the only hurdles she faced. Behind the radiant smile fans loved on screen, Jennifer was quietly managing a surprising health issue: dry eye syndrome. Another health shocker. While Jennifer's life often looked picture-perfect under the spotlight, Jennifer was quietly dealing with another surprising health struggle: dry eye syndrome. For most people, eye irritation might sound like a small inconvenience. But for Jennifer, whose career depends on reading scripts, memorizing lines, and working under the harsh lights of film sets, it became a daily challenge. She explained that the discomfort grew so overwhelming that she had to constantly rely on eye drops. In fact, at one point, she was using them 2 to 3 times every single hour, just to get through her day. At first, Jennifer assumed her symptoms were caused by something simple, like allergies or the environment. After all, long hours on set often meant exposure to dust, wind machines, and heavy makeup. But when the irritation refused to go away, she consulted a doctor, only to discover she was dealing with a chronic condition: dry eye syndrome. The diagnosis explained why her eyes often felt sore, tired, or gritty, even when she tried to rest. The condition not only made her professional life more difficult, but also spilled into her everyday routines. Applying makeup became uncomfortable, while standing in front of fans or studio wind machines during photo shoots worsened the dryness. Even activities most of us take for granted, like reading, were no longer easy for Jennifer. She admitted that sometimes even preparing for a new role felt daunting, because going through scripts became such a painful task. Her journey toward finding answers began almost by accident. During an interview, she casually mentioned how often she used eye drops. This small detail sparked further discussions that ultimately led her to better understand her condition. It also opened the door to her working with a pharmaceutical company to raise awareness about dry eye syndrome, an issue many people ignore until it becomes unbearable. Through consultations with specialists, Jennifer learned not just how to treat her symptoms, but also how to manage her eye health in a sustainable way. Sharing her story publicly, she emphasized how important it is to take persistent eye discomfort seriously, instead of brushing it off as something minor. What made Jennifer's openness powerful was the fact that so many people could relate. Millions around the world experience similar symptoms, but don't always recognize them as a medical condition. Some, like Jennifer once did, blame it on allergies, tiredness, or too much screen time. By speaking honestly, she encouraged others to listen to their bodies and seek proper care. For fans, her revelation was another reminder that even the biggest Hollywood stars deal with real, human struggles. Just as she had previously spoken about her dyslexia and childhood insecurities, Jennifer's honesty about dry eye syndrome made her even more relatable. She reminded people that eye health matters and that ignoring small symptoms can have a big impact on everyday life. But life in the spotlight isn't just about personal hurdles. Fame can bring fear and danger, as Jennifer would painfully discover when the darker side of Hollywood reached her doorstep. The dark side of fame. For decades, Jennifer Aniston has been one of Hollywood's most beloved stars, adored by fans across the globe for her work on Friends and beyond. But fame often comes with a darker side, and in recent months, the actress found herself at the center of a terrifying ordeal that could have ended far worse. The unsettling incident involved a Mississippi man named Jimmy Wayne Carwile, 48, who allegedly developed an unhealthy fixation on Aniston. According to prosecutors, since March 2023, Carwile had been bombarding the actress with unwanted emails, voicemails, and social media messages. His online ramblings, some reportedly calling Aniston his bride, painted a picture of obsession that grew more alarming with time. That obsession reached a breaking point one Monday afternoon in Los Angeles. Carwile allegedly drove his gray Chrysler PT Cruiser straight through the gates of Aniston's $21 million Bel Air mansion, while the actress herself was inside. The crash caused major damage and instantly set off alarms. Fortunately, Aniston's security team was quick to respond. A guard intercepted the intruder in her driveway and, with a weapon drawn, held him at bay until LAPD officers arrived to arrest him. No one was hurt, but the situation underscored how dangerous celebrity stalking can quickly become. Prosecutors charged Carwile with felony stalking and vandalism, along with an aggravating circumstance of threat of great bodily harm. If convicted, he could face up to 3 years in prison. District Attorney Nathan Hochman issued a stern statement afterward. Stalking is a crime that can quickly escalate from harassment to dangerous, violent actions. My office is committed to aggressively prosecuting those who stalk and terrorize others. While Aniston has not commented publicly on the case, reports suggest she was shaken and furious, particularly because her home address had been revealed during the police process. For someone who treasures her privacy, this violation cut deeply. The story took another strange turn just days later when Carwile appeared in court for his arraignment, dressed only in an anti-suicide blanket, shirtless and barefoot. He made bizarre glares and smiles at the cameras as he stood behind a glass partition. At one point, he pressed his hands against the glass and stared silently at the courtroom. He neither entered a plea nor spoke, leading the judge to question his mental competency. It was ultimately decided that Carwile would go through mental health court to determine whether he was fit to stand trial. His bail was set at $150,000, and a restraining order was issued requiring him to stay at least 100 yards away from Aniston and her home. Carwile's public defender downplayed the need for the order, suggesting contact with Aniston would hardly be an issue while he was in custody. But prosecutors insisted, and the judge agreed, making it crystal clear. "You're not to have any contact with Jennifer Aniston under any conditions?" Meanwhile, a friend of Carwile spoke out, describing him as a good man who had fallen into mental instability due to drug use. The friend pleaded for compassion, hoping the case would lead Carwile to finally receive the help he needed. This isn't the first time Aniston has had to deal with a stalker. Back in 2010, she obtained a restraining order against another man who wrongly believed he was in a relationship with her. But this latest incident felt especially threatening because the stalker not only crossed digital boundaries, but also physically breached the gates of her home. For now, Aniston is safe, thanks to her vigilant security team. But the chilling episode serves as a reminder that celebrity lives, no matter how glamorous, often carry risks that most people never have to face. What seemed like harmless fan behavior can spiral into something frightening and dangerous. What do Jennifer Aniston's life experiences reveal about the reality behind Hollywood fame? Are there other heartbreaking experiences that shaped the woman she is today? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.